Coming up tonight, get the inside scoop on the relaunch of Own 3D TV. We'll be bringing you an in-depth recap of the 5th week of Pro League and find out what's happening with Pro Evolution Soccer 2014. All this and much more on tonight's Daily News. Hello from Studio One in Babelsberg, Germany. As you may have noticed, I am not Dan Chu, I'm Jason Atkins, British accent extraordinaire, bringing you all the latest news from the esports industry. Now it's time to take a look at the day in history. The day today is March 25th, and on this day in esports history, Malaysia became the focus of the world when it hosted the inaugural iCity Pro Dota Championships in 2011, boasting a prize pool of nearly €5,000 and a pledge to produce world-class Dota experience in the eyes of the world. So, at the top of today's show is a monumental change in North American Counter-Strike scene. Braxton Pierce, better known as Swag, will no longer compete with the rest of the Complexity roster. His former teammate, Jordan Nothing Gilbert, stated on his Facebook page that unfortunately Swag had left the team and it was his own decision to step down. The 17-year-old Swag will now be picked up by iBuyPower, the ESEA Season 15 champions and Complexity's biggest rivals in the North American CSGO scene. After Complexity's recent success in the EMS1 Katowice and DreamHack Winter Finals, it's no surprise that Swag, one of the best performing players, will not stay teamless for long. Pierce, who at his young age is already taking on titans like NiP and iBuyPower on a regular basis, is said to be one of the best players in North America, as well as a player with a lot of potential. Although some misunderstood Swag's departure as a removal by Complexity management, it has been confirmed that he will now be the 4th player in the IBP roster. In exchange, Complexity will be picking up Todd Anger Williams. Trading players has yet to become a real thing in esports, where most teams actually group up and try out together. This might mark a huge step towards the real sports industry. With the signing of Swag, iBuyPower is still one man short, however. Everybody is excited to see who will be the 5th man joining their journey to world domination. Having won the ESEA Season 15 LAN Finals, facing off against Complexity as well as French, Team Titan of course, iBuyPower are now one of the teams to look out for, not only in North America, but perhaps in the international scene as well. Well, many professional players and teams criticise the lack of challenge within the scene, with so little potential in the region as opposed to Europe. The difference is quite clear, to be quite honest, but change doesn't happen overnight after all, and competing in European tournaments has not really worked out that well for them, but we have seen an increase in results as of late. So, although the reign of NiP seems to be ending, maybe as Bob Dylan would say, the times they are a-changing. So let's continue with the relaunch of Own 3D TV. Some of you might not remember Own 3D TV's past, so let's take a trip down memory lane. Own TV was an Austrian company launched back in August of 2009 with the mission to spread video gaming and esports. Keep in mind that this was 2 years before Twitch.tv launched. The only real alternative was Justin.tv, which was launched in 2007 but focused on multimedia streaming in general. The gaming portion of Justin exploded eventually, which led to the creation of Twitch.tv. Own TV experienced an exponential growth and were very popular from the beginning. However, they would later become infamous for not paying their streamers and associates. One of the more prominent examples is Destiny, who had received late payments. Destiny and other popular streamers eventually deciding to switch over to Twitch because they had yet to be paid really, and the content they created, well, it was of a high quality. That all happened in the last few months of Own TV before they decided to shut down their organisation. This Austrian streaming company filed their bankruptcy, eventually closing their doors on the 1st of February 2013. They officially filed for closure on the 18th of February according to the Austrian Federal Ministry of Justice. The former COO of Owned is currently working at Dailymotion for their live and gaming team. Martin Kilmscher, former CFO at Owned, and René Weinberger, the former Chief Technological Officer of Owned TV, are both working at Hitbox TV now. Martin is the CEO and co-founder of Hitbox TV right now. We reached out to the former associates of the old Owned TV and tried to get a comment on the relaunch of Owned without success. Little is known about the relaunch of the streaming platform, though we do know that they will be calling themselves the MOBA community, now hinting that they will be focusing on esports giants League of Legends and Dota 2 primarily. At this point, it is not even sure that they will pick up the former Own 3D, pick up where the former Own 3D crew left off. It is merely known that they will be providing a new place for the MOBA community. Well, we will keep you posted on the matter as more changes emerge. So, time now to take a look at the competitive scene in Brazil for League of Legends. There has been a recent ELO boosting scandal, and it's been going from strength to strength, the scene itself, but this scandal has taken a toll. 13 well-known players and 12 more unknown players were banned for ELO boosting. That means that these players, among them, the complete lineup of the LoL eSports team 7 Wars, will only be able to participate in Riot competitions in 2015. The punishment's duration can be extended if any of these players should engage in more illegal practices during this period. When it comes to punishment, there are many players who aren't quite what you would call role models. Shook, also known as Envision, who is currently Alliance's jungler and plays in the LCS EU, well, a year ago, he was banned from participation in LCS due to repeated reports for poor in-game behaviour. A total of 18 received punishments across multiple other accounts have been counted at the time of the ban, resulting in 2 additional permabans. One of these accounts, Jungle Reject, counted 436 reports of poor behaviour in only 135 games. His account Envision received reports in 29% of the played games, 6 more than the average EU player. There are more cases of competitive players who seem to be incapable of showing respect towards other players. In the same year as the Shook ban, Damien Linak Lorforius was banned from the LCS as well. Linak played for Against All Authority and had been reported in 20% of his total matches. After the punishment, he didn't change his behaviour, it even worsened. The cases are very similar to what happened with Christian I Will Dominate Rivera, who was banned on all accounts in December 2012. It also resulted in an LCS ban. So, I Will Dominate, using that time to successfully improve his behaviour. Afterwards, he hit 2.2k on his ELO and started streaming on a more consistent basis. So, now time to take a look at Battlefield 4 news. Our partners over at ESL, they've announced the inaugural ESL 1 Seasonal Cup. After the division update on Wednesday, the teams in the Premier Division will have the chance to qualify for the Cup, but only if your team is in the top 5 by the 1st of April. So don't miss the chance to compete against pro gamers like Fnatic, MYM, Team Dignitas and many more. Yet more news for all the Battlefield 4 lovers out there. The new DLC, Naval Strike, is out today, but only for premium members on the consoles. However, according to DICE, they have detected an issue that needs to be fixed. A release date for the PC version is still yet unknown. It's time for a short break. When we return, we will bring you an in-depth recap of Star Series 9 in Europe, and we will take a look at the results of the GSL Code S round of 8. Later, Gfinity are set to host an awesome LAN. We will look at that. Find out more when the Daily News returns. So, welcome back to the desk. Now it's time to take a look at Star Series 9 Europe. Yesterday saw 3 matches played, the first of which was Fnatic versus Insane. After the loss against Cloud9 in D2CL, Fnatic seems to have gained momentum and completely crushed their opponents, forcing Insane to call GG in the 19th minute. After Fnatic rolled over Insane, we had our second match between Sigma Int and Cleve. Sigma with a solid victory against Cleve, nothing more to add really. And finally, we had the pleasure of watching Alliance in action against Ahead. In the opening minutes, looked surprisingly good for Ahead, to be quite honest, managing to secure first blood and a few early game kills. But in the mid-game, they couldn't compete against Alliance's playstyle. By far the MVP and playmaker in this game was Admiral Bulldog with his NYX Assassin, and the only having 1 death by the time the final scores had been settled. So, kick back, relax, and in the immortal words of Super Freak Rick James, enjoy yourself.
And it's just obvious that Luna is the harder carry of the two. Luna will do better with farm, and ooh, just off the mark. There you go.
The Centaur is able to scout it out. Whew.
And there you go, blink forward. They'll catch No Fear with the lasso.
Not the best personal lasso, but...
And Io, he's taking a lot of damage as well. Bean Script, RZ taking a lot of damage, and it is a 2-for-0 to get things started. There's the hand of God.
taken no damage this entire fight.
Multiple fights breaking out here, but yeah, Loda just going for Aloha Dance. There's the Impale to finish him off. Zip back into the base. Alliance, they haven't even killed this. Oh, they did take out the tier 2 tower finally, but taking a very aggressive position here. Arrow off the mark, No Fear, looking for an opening. Actually, one of the Centaurs missing his stun as well. Centaur, all right, he'll set it up. This is some kinky Centaur on Centaur action. Look at that shackle onto Aloha Dance.
Amazing shackle.
EGN, you are on point today.
And the Eclipse comes through.
Wisp, maybe in some trouble. Nope, he'll scoot back, but they'll just turn on to No Fear.
That's where we'll probably fall here. No. Yeah, the negative arm and the brain sap will be enough to take him down.
Yep, there you go. Blink forward from S4. He'll catch Arzeek. See you later, Bane. Aloha dance. He hops forward, throws the Orchid out onto Bulldog, trying to finish him off. No fear coming in, but the all heal comes from Chen. And yeah, they'll make it a 2-0 now. S4, he hops into the base. Aloha dance. He's out of resources. See you later. He tries to get relocated back from the Wisp, but won't happen. Tier 3 tower in the mid falls. EGM had some pretty good shackles. Yeah, you're right. He got picked off twice, back-to-back early on in the laning stage. Here we'll see Alliance get repelled a little bit, but they'll turn back in.
Now they know the blade mill's down. They can go on no fear.
Yeah, Loda taking a fair bit of damage, but he still has the Aegis. Lasso used on Aloha Dance. They did pop the mech on the Radiant side of things, and that'll pick him up a little bit. Loda in the front lines just trying to take some damage. He wants to burn the Aegis. There it goes. Aloha Dance has already fallen. They're going to commit to no fear. He'll go down as well. Loda comes back, full health, full mana, and he's just going for structures. He's got that bouncy glaive.
Yep, GG is the call.
GG, as they say in French.
Moving on to StarCraft now. Friday, we talked about the VazaCast Invitational featuring 32 of the best Korean and non-Korean pros. With all that talent in one minor tournament, Spanish Zerg player Vortex defeated names like Select, Todd, MMA and Stardust, making it into the finals. Facing off against Jackie, with Turan and Zerg in the final, one of my favourite matchups, both players showed excellent performances. In the end, Vortex prevailed, finishing 3-2 and taking home $2,500 of prize money. Here are some of the highlights.
And it approaches the natural expansion. He's just going to go right for it. The Heli is moving in, trying to get the splash damage on the Marines. Auto turret is placed, so the SCV's not doing enough damage. And Major trying to just run out to meet this army has been smashed back. And you know what? It's really funny to think about this. He's killed 7 SCVs that he pulled down, but there's still a very close worker count. The problem is, how do you deal with these siege tanks now? He's got 2 tanks, Marines, and he can put down another auto turret in 8 seconds. This game is over. He's going to try to place... Yeah, that's it. He does get the Raven before it can place anything else, but there's still Marines for high ground vision. He says, you know what? I've got the better upgrades, and I am ready to end this. I am coming for you. Swiggity swoogity. Moving across that map. Picking off some overlords as well. The mines are spreading out. The mines are burrowing. Vortex would love to counterattack, but there are forces here. Banelings will detonate, and there's still Marines left over. He's not getting the hits he needs. He's going in. He's going to try to surround this army from both sides. The Mutalisks getting some of these medevacs. He's finally cleaned up a large portion of this army, but there's still so much supply left. The reinforcement rally is coming in. The Widowmines have not burrowed yet. The Banelings need to get the connections. He prevents them from detonating. The medevacs are all going to be picked off. This Banelings early force is just chasing. Are there even any Widowmines left to get the big connections? No. Vortex, has he finally done it? Has he finally, once and for all, defeated this Terran Nightmare? There's still a drop in the bottom left attacking that base. Thor gets picked off. There's no resources left in here to mine. He needs to go and get this base. Another Mule Hammer hits the ground as the Mutalisks go back. He wants to defend this base. He only has 1 mining base now, and that is this right side fourth. He has 15 drones here, but the Zerglings are going to...
So, with Vortex taking first place, Jatki in second, Stardust and Major had to fight for third place. Both agreed on only playing a best of 3 after having played all day long, with Major winning 2 of the games due to cheesing, going third place in the VazaCast Invitational 2014. So before we head into the break, we will talk about Pro League, which just wrapped up its 5th week today, and therefore the second round. We were in for a few surprises. So, Incredible Miracle, who haven't performed well, recently defeated KT Rolster 3-1, only losing 1 map to Zergling, Zest. KT Rolster managed to defeat Team Prime 3-0, which led to the situation that American StarCraft 2 Pro State was not able to perform. This week again, CG Enter showed an outstanding performance, defeating MVP 3-1 and SK Telecom T1 3-1 also. So, with Pro League finishing the second round, let's take a look at the standings. The Jinner Green Wings are placed on the number 1 spot, followed by CJ Enters in the runner-up spot. KT Rolster took the 3rd place and MVP came in 4th. That settles the matches of the playoffs. That will be played in 4 days. KT Rolster will face against MVP Rolster as well, and it looks like we would see the winner facing off against CG Enters in the semi-finals. Jinner Green Wings will be the ultimate challenge, waiting patiently in the finals, of course. Keep in mind that despite the fact that KT Rolster is placed 3rd this time, they have the secret weapon Zest, who single-handedly killed all of the SK Telecom T1 team in the first round of the Pro League. So, yet more StarCraft. On Saturday, GSL Codas round of 8 took place. On the second day of the quarterfinals, Life and Soul made their stand while showing that the Zerg is not to be underestimated. After a nerve-wracking best-of-5 series, Life took down the so-called Marine Prince. Life's inhuman control of Speedlings in the early game, as well as his brilliant tech switches, secured his spot in the semi-finals. While So, a second Zerg player, advances to the semis himself, facing off against Parting, the former WCS world champion. So just did not let his opponent get into his game, demonstrating the potential of Mutalisks and Corruptor supported by Hydras. So wore his SK Telecom teammate down in the late game. As Zest and Rain will battle it out which Protoss player can dominate. Life and So will have to play a ZVZ, making the finals a clear Zerg versus Protoss. For all the Terran players out there, at least you've made it into the quarterfinals. Not all hope is lost. So, let's take a short break. Stay tuned, because when we come back, we will have a sneak peek into the latest news of what's happening with Pro Evolution Soccer 2014, and also League of Legends planning to rework their entire rune system. How will this affect your play? Find out when we return. Welcome back to the desk. Don't forget that another exciting season of Hearthstone Fight Night is about to continue right after the news. Team Doggy House will face off against Team Mana Grind. Now it is time to take a look at Gfinity's recent announcement of a LAN event in the UK. If you haven't heard of Gfinity yet, you should really listen closely, because they will be hosting a LAN in London. The online gaming company, founded by gaming addicts, was founded 4.5 years ago and will now be hosting their third LAN. With a total prize purse of $175,000 US, divided among 5 titles. What are those 5 games, you may ask? Well, please allow me to elucidate. Call of Duty Ghosts is one of them, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Dota 2, StarCraft 2, as well as FIFA 14. The LAN will take place at the Copper Box Arena at the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in London, starting on the 24th of May. The G3 will have open as well as invitational qualifiers. Spectator tickets are purchasable as we speak at the cost of £22 per day. So if you want to sit in one of the 7,000 seats in the Copper Box Arena, don't forget to order your ticket now. So it's time to show your passion and talent in Pro Evo Soccer 2014. Teaming up with UEFA, Konami, the developers of PES 2014, have announced a virtual Champions League competition in Europe. The PES 2014 Virtual UEFA Champions League will be bolstered by €25,000 of prize money and will kick off tomorrow, the 26th of March. Registration opens today ahead of the first online ranked matches taking place one day later. So any PS3 players out there who have interest can register for competition through their official website from now. Generally speaking, every player is free to take part in this match, and the results will be collated from thousands of matches to create a layout reflecting players' performance. According to Konami's official announcement, this league will last for some time. Moreover, this season, besides a juicy €25,000 prize pot, there will also be a range of other fancy prizes, like official signed UEFA Champions League memorabilia and the exclusive chance to experience UEFA Champions League finals in Lisbon, with tickets for the winner, of course. Also, Konami has unveiled a UEFA Youth League PES event in which 8 of the top European PES players will fly to Nyon, Switzerland, where they will watch the first UEFA Youth League finals before competing in a video game arena at UEFA's headquarters. If you would like a chance to claim these charming prizes, just put on your try-hard face and get involved. More details and information for registration and matches can be found by visiting the PES 2014 Virtual UEFA Champions League website. So, one of the major aspects which differentiates League of Legends from other MOBA titles are the runes. Riot wanted to balance them in the 2014 pre-season, but couldn't deliver the changes in time for the launch of the season. However, a few days ago, Rioter Pwith posted the upcoming balance changes and gave an insight into what's coming next, possibly. So, for the next patch, some basic changes will be implemented, and we are looking at a closer look at those. First of all, let's start with the nerfs, as we have 2 runes affected by it, Armor Seals and Lifesteal Quintessences. Ever since Armor Seals existed, they have been a staple of every solid rune page. To nerf, well, it's going to make a big difference to the game. The nerf itself will see a lower from 1.41 armor to 1.0. As compensation, all champions will gain +4 base armor, which is more than the actual loss of running 9 Armor Seals. So, the second rune page getting nerfed is the lifesteal quintessence, which became quite commonplace in the past. An example would be how junglers are profiting from the sustain while clearing the jungle camps. Or, if you prefer, ADCs running quintessences of lifesteal to get that extra sustain, which provides near Doran's blade passive effects in the early game. All while still providing the ability to scale later on. Lifesteal, well, it will be reduced from 2% to 1.5% per quintessence, but there is also compensation for this, as the Offensive Mastery Feast will now restore free health upon minion kills. The value previously was 2. That is it for the nerfs. The buff section is a little bit larger, with the armor seals receiving a nerf. Another option would be running scaling armor seals. They are changed from 2.7 armor to 3.0 at level 18. That means that you will outscale the armor seals once you hit level 6. On one hand, jungle builds reliant on armor and lifesteal quints are slightly sketchy and will have a more difficult early game. On the other hand, however, the upcoming changes will buff champions relying on attack speed, as attack quintessences get changed from 3.4% to 4.5% attack speed. Prime example would be Warwick. Also, scaling cooldown reduction glyphs and quintessences, as well as flat cooldown reduction quintessences, will be getting buffed by a large amount, which will come in handy for people who use them anyway. Champions such as Nasus, of course, will feel the benefit on his Q spell. In addition, mana regeneration scaling, mana regeneration glyphs and health runes also receiving buffs too, as well as scaling magic resist glyphs, which are already often used by many players. By the way, the lower tier runes are also affected as well. In general, the idea behind these balance changes is to provide a broader array of efficient builds and get away from the optimal, some would say standard rune pages, of the majority of champions. The changes will kick off with a 30% off rune and IP boost sale, which we'll see from the beginning of the patch at the start of April. Riot also said that they will keep an eye on the runes, but besides that, they aren't currently planning any further significant changes for this season. So, time now for today's Art Spotlight, which will feature everybody's favourite internet alien mascot, the Reddit Shnu. Well, that's all the news that's fit to stream. Before we finish here, let's head over to the 5-day forecast. Starting on Wednesday, we have the Korea Dota 2 League happening. MVP Phoenix will face off against Berggang. Tune in at 7 p.m. KST via twitch.tv/KDL_EM. On Thursday, we will see the WCS EU Round of 16 Group C going on. Join the action at 6 p.m. CET. twitch.tv/WCS_Europe. Friday, that will see the D2CL semi-finals heading your way with a battle of two giants, Alliance versus Na'Vi. Don't miss the action. It goes live from 6 p.m. CET via dailymotion.com/D2CL. Don't forget to tune in on Saturday when the 10th week of the LCS NA Spring Split is airing, featuring the likes of Cloud9, Team Solo Mid, XDG and EG, who will all battle it out starting from 12 p.m. PST over at twitch.tv/Riot Games. And last but not least, on Sunday, we have the WCS America Season 2 Oceania C qualifiers taking place. Join Pig or Ender on twitch.tv/WCS America. So that's all the news we have for tonight. If you have any news you would like to share with us here at ESGN TV, send an email to news@esgntv.com. So from myself and all the hard-working crew here at Studio One, have yourself a wonderful evening, and we will catch you on the flip side.